Fellow FPL managers, today we are looking at the best player at every price point in FPL. So make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get right into the video. We're going to start at 4.5 million. I don't care about 4 million. It's obviously Dubravka. Now he is the only starting goalkeeper at 4 million in the game. I know there's some 4 million defenders as well, but I don't care about them. As you can see in the top left as well, guys, we are also looking at the highest owned player at every price point, so we can compare the players I've picked to the players who the entire community is picking. And I know Wan-Bissaka has been very high owned for a while, but come on, guys. West Ham are not a good team. They don't have a solid defence. What do they keep? Like 6 clean sheets last season? I mean, get a grip. Pick an Aston Villa defender. They were 5th for expected clean sheets last season. Don't doubt them. They had more expected clean sheets than Nottingham Forest. They just got a little unlucky and, you know, there was some bad goalkeeping here and there. The highest owned player at 5 million is Aina. Technically, it's Matt Sells. And also at 4.5, it's technically Kelleher. But we're not talking about goalkeepers this video because I think that position is a little separate from the rest of them. So Williams is the best 5 million defender in my opinion, yet loads of people are picking the player on the other side of the pitch, Aina, his teammate. And people are picking him just because he scored one more goal than Williams last season, even though Williams was better on the expected goals and also does pretty well on the defensive contribution stat. People don't think Williams' minutes are as secure as Aina's, and maybe he's going to play a few less minutes, but I very much doubt he's going to be at risk of starting, and I very much doubt he's going to be a sub before the 60th minute. He's also got more goal threat and assist potential going forward than Aina, so it really makes no sense to be picking Aina over Williams. So guys, if you are doing that, just change your mind. It's okay to be wrong, you know, not everybody can be as good as FPL bodies at FPL. So let's go on to the 5.5 million player. This guy, Anderson, is criminally under-owned. Honestly, an absolute beast. Fair enough, you know, I don't actually own him myself, but I thought his ownership would be higher. The defensive contributions, guys, he needs 12 as a midfielder to get 2 points for it in a game. He's averaging 13.35 per 90. If only he actually played the full 90, he would get it every game, but he doesn't. He's usually a fairly early sub. As you see here, he plays on average 74 minutes a game. The highest owned outfield 5.5 million player is actually Beto. And guys, he's a rotation risk. I'm not really 100% sure why so many of you are going for him. I mean, fair enough. If he ends up starting most games, he's going to be an insanely good FPL asset. Definitely one of the best value players in the game. But Everton have bought a new striker, and it's looking like he may be the favourite in the near future. You know, fair enough, it's hard to decide right now. I'm sure that Everton manager David Moyes is having a tough time choosing himself. I don't think Beto's going to be starting every game. And I think a lot of people would agree with me, guys. You've got to use your heads on this one. At 5.5 million, there's not only better options, but there's safer options too. I love the Everton fixture run. I think it's amazing, but go for Ndai instead of Beto for the extra 1 million. I assure you it's worth it. Back to Anderson. Forest also have a great fixture run. Anderson also got 8 goal involvements last season, so it's not like he's going to shy away from bagging an assist or a goal now and then. As you can see on this graph, actually, he has got the best creative potential out of every player here. Fair enough, there's 3 defenders here, so it's not like the competition is tough, but he'll definitely get you, you know, some good hauls at some point. There will be a game where he gets a few points for minutes and a clean sheet, you know, a couple for bonus points, a couple for defensive contributions, and a few more for an assist. That could happen. It's not so outlandish to think. At only 5.5 million, I would say that is pretty good value, so I have put him as the best player at 5.5 million. Just keep in mind, with these CDMs, these defensive midfielders that are going to get you defensive contribution points, you should not rotate them. These guys will get a similar amount of points whether they play away to Arsenal or home to Leeds. So I know a lot of people are falling into that trap, like rotating them for another cheap midfielder. One good game, one hard game, switching them out back and forth. Guys, it's illogical. It makes no sense, okay? These guys could bag a 4-pointer against Arsenal, Liverpool, Leeds or Burnley. At 6 million, we have the final defender. Now, there's many defenders costing 6 million in the game, but I believe Gabriel is the best one at 6 million. We're seeing loads of Van Dijks, loads of Frimpongs, loads of Gvardiols, loads of Cucureas. But, I mean, fair enough, there's a lot of Gabriels too. I think if you're picking Gabriel, you're using your intelligence a lot more than these other managers who are picking other 6 million defenders. And I mean no disrespect, but Gabriel goal threat is ridiculous. The Arsenal defence is also ridiculous. Look at the defensive stats on the screen right now, guys. The fixture run isn't great, but the Arsenal defence is the best in the league and there's no debate there. They were first for expected clean sheets last season, first for expected goals conceded, and Gabriel debatably has the highest goal threat of any defender in the league. I was surprised he only cost 6 million. I thought he was going to come in at 6.5. The fact they priced him as the same, as Van Dijk or Saliba doesn't make a lot of sense to me because he is a level above those guys. Anyway, some of you might disagree with me. Some of you might think a midfielder or forward should go here. I personally think Gabriel is the best defender at 6 million, and you can argue with a wall. 6.5 million is controversial. This was tough, and the higher up this list gets, the tougher the choices are, surprisingly, even though there's less players to choose from. Ndai might be getting replaced with Jack Grealish, who is apparently going to Everton on loan. Possibly. They're both left wingers. This would definitely affect Ndai's minutes and then make him one of the worst 6.5 million mid options. Alternatively, it could make Jack Grealish at 6.5 million the best 6.5 million player in FPL. So it's very hard to see what's going to happen without knowing if Grealish is going to go on loan or stay at Man City. Realistically, there's a lot of other good options at 6.5 million. You got Kudus, you got Welbeck, some other guys, I'm sure. But if Grealish doesn't go to Everton on loan, and to be honest, I don't think he will. I could be wrong, but I can't imagine Grealish would actually want to go to Everton on loan. I feel like his ego is a bit too high, but that's me judging the book by his cover. So Ndai here, actually low on the non-penalty expected goal involvements. I've seen a lot of people talking about this. Yes, it is fairly low, I mean, the best goal threat out of these 5 players, but that's fairly obvious. You would expect it. He's the only attacking player here. People are forgetting he also has penalties, and he also has the best opening 3 games, and fixtures do matter a lot. A player with average data like Ndai can absolutely pop off when you've got set pieces and a good fixture run ahead of you. And because there's so many good options at 6.5 million, when the fixtures get tough, you can just transfer Ndai out for another good 6.5 million midfielder. And Kudus at 6.5 million, the highest owned 6.5 million player, is actually fair enough. It's a tough choice. The reason I'm picking Ndai is just, safer, secure minutes. The next 2 prices, 7 million and 7.5 million, were probably the 2 hardest ones to make. Semenyo is going to surprise a lot of people because game week 1 is very difficult. But guys, if you look at the fixture run after game week 1, Bournemouth actually have a good run of games game week 2 onwards. Semenyo is only 5% owned, which is fair, playing away to Liverpool. Not a lot of people want him in their team. And Rodgers at the same price is insanely high owned, which I respect. I think Rodgers is a great asset at 7 million. I think he's fairly priced, and I think he's got one of the best fixture runs, if not the best fixture run in the game, from game week 1 to 7. And I was really debating putting Rodgers here so much, but at the end of the day, the underlying data for Semenyo is just a lot better than it is for Rodgers. Rodgers got a lot of points from assists last season and very low expected assists. I think his assists almost doubled his expected assists, and that's not something I want to rely on, even though I've got Bowen in this video who basically did the same thing. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Semenyo is a 7 million player, obviously, along with Evanilson and Kluivert. Now, why have I picked Semenyo over these two, even though Kluivert has penalties? Well, Kluivert did not end the season too well, and he doesn't play the full game often like Semenyo does. Evanilson is a striker who doesn't have penalties and underperforms his expected goals, which is not a player I like. So despite his tough game week 1, I believe Semenyo is the best player at 7 million to own in game week 1. At 7.5, there's so many good forwards. Chris Wood, Solanke and João Pedro, those 3 are insane. Well, insane might be an exaggeration, but they're all players who are pretty good value and they all have a pretty good fixture run. There's also players like Mateta at 7.5, Eze as well, Wissa, but those fixtures aren't too good for Brentford and Crystal Palace, so I kind of narrowed it down to Solanke, Wood and João Pedro. I've gone with Chris Wood because he is an absolute beast when it comes to finishing in front of goal. For the last 2 seasons, consistently, he has massively overperformed his expected goals. At first, he was doing it for half a season and you think, fair enough, these Chris Wood owners got lucky. Then you see Chris Wood doing it for a whole year and you're thinking, oh my God, how much luckier can he get? But it's to the point now where he's done it for 2 seasons in a row, to the point where it's not even considered luck. He is genuinely just a great finisher with an insanely high conversion rate. And Forest haven't exactly taken any big losses except Elanga, and they've replaced him with a player who seems okay. So Chris Wood's appeal hasn't really dropped much at all, and you pair that with a good fixture run, I don't see any reason as to why he can't replicate what he did last season, because Forest haven't exactly got any worse. And fair enough, Chris Wood's getting a bit older now, but it's not like he relied on his pace in the first place, so I think we're going to be okay. And what you get with Chris Wood that you don't with Solanke and João Pedro is consistency. Jared Bowen, along with Chris Wood, is actually one of the highest overperformers of expected points last season, the expected assists and the expected goals. Now, fair enough, the expected goals, you're just showing how quality you are as a player, but with the expected assists, you're sort of relying on your teammates to be quality players. And let's be honest, At West Ham, you're not surrounded by quality players 24/7. Now, why am I shitting on a player who I've put as the best player to own at 8 mil? And why am I dissing him when he is in my Game Week 1 draft as of when I'm recording this? Well, there's not a lot of amazing options at 8 million. You've got Mbeumo and Cunha. I think Bruno is worth it for the extra 1 mil. He narrowly missed out in that 9 million spot. Then you've got Foden, who is a rotation risk, and then you've got Odegaard, who is just a big stinker. And Bowen is actually good. The issue is he doesn't have penalties. What he does have is a great fixture run, along with 4 years of FPL consistency to back himself up. He's a player that will always consistently bag you points when there's good fixtures ahead, even through some of the tough games as well. So for me, why I'm picking Bowen in my Game Week 1 team above anyone like Chris Wood, Solanke or Yao Pedro is because I know I'm getting a player who is almost definitely going to get me some returns, especially in that Sunderland game. And from Game Week 1 to 6, I think they have a top 3 fixture run in the game. At 8.5 million, there wasn't a lot of players to choose from either. You got Ekitike, you got Marmoush, you got Wirtz, who is here right now and also the highest owned player. Son and Ekitike, I'm ruling out, to be completely honest. With Wirtz versus Marmoush, it's closer than a lot of people think. The Marmoush fixture run is better than Wirtz fixture run. He's got pretty secure minutes at Man City, and he also was a very popular option toward the end of last season because he was getting in very advanced positions. Even when Haaland was back as a striker, Marmoush was still doing well. The reason I've picked Wirtz over Marmoush is because in pre-season, Wirtz has been making runs in behind, so it's not like he's just a creator. He could also be running through on goal fairly often. He's also been pictured taking corners in pre-season as well, which is nice to see. Some safe set pieces there. And he's very high owned, so he is definitely the safer option to go for. I'm not fully convinced on Wirtz, I'm not fully sold, I'm not super confident about it, but at 8.5 million, I do believe he is the best player to own, and I'm sure he will be getting lots and lots of points when he has settled into this Liverpool super team. 9 million, there's only 3 players to choose from, guys. We got Watkins, we got Bruno, and we got Gyökeres. Gyökeres, straight out of the debate. Do not pick Gyökeres, guys, okay? He might need to be settled in. He might not start the first couple game weeks, and he hasn't been looking good in pre-season. Also, the Arsenal fixture run ain't that good. Then you got Bruno Fernandes, who with the addition of defensive contributions would have hit just under 200 points last season. The guy also has competent Premier League players in front of him this time round. He's still on every set piece. He's still involved in everything Man United does. Yet he's still not even the best player at 9 million because we have Ollie Watkins here instead, whose expected goals numbers are pretty ridiculous. I almost forgot how high Ollie Watkins' standards were. He ended last season with over 180 points. Aston Villa have the best fixture run from Game Week 1 to 7, and Ollie Watkins has penalties. He's also been popping off in pre-season. For me, he's a no-brainer in my Game Week 1 team, and he is a no-brainer, well, not a no-brainer because it was a tough debate between Bruno, but a very, very good option at 9 million, slightly better than Bruno Fernandes, who is also great at 9 million. Obviously, if you look at the expected goals compared to the goals, he doesn't overperform like Chris Wood or Jared Bowen. And if you look at the expected assists, he's another player who has relied on his teammates, getting, very low expected goals chances put in the back of the net. But Ollie Watkins' goal threat is so high, it's not like he's going to need those lucky assists to actually get a decent point tally. Guys, we are going to stop at 9 million because from 9.5, 10 million upwards, it gets very simple and very common sense. So there's no need to do it. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching if you made it this far. Let me know what you agree with. Let me know what you disagree with down in the comments. Feel free to argue with me. Feel free to have a debate. I'm always happy to prove people wrong. And yeah, I will see you guys all in the next video.